So guys, I've got the all the bits I need to insulate the van. I've already got some sound deadening pads on there. I will run through what I did with those when I get in the van tomorrow to demonstrate how I'm going to fit all this. But what I've got here is the foil-backed foam padding, which is going to go against the inside panels. It's self-adhesive, so that's just going to peel off there and stick on and cut into size and go on the inside of the panels, provide a bit more sound deadening as well as the insulation. It's closed cell foam, by the way. I've also got some insulation foil here, which is just a single layer of foil on effectively bubble wrap. So I've also got the polyester wool foam to go in. I've done a bit of research on what kind of foam to be using, or what kind of insulation roll to be using, sorry. The glass wool, which you'll find as loft insulation, great for loft insulation apparently, but in a van where moving parts are involved, where there's going to be vibration through the van anyway, some of those fibres, unless it's completely sealed off, and that's going to be quite a hard thing to do in an old VW T2, you're going to get glass fibres coming out, and they can get in and be a bit itchy, and that's not what you want in something you're going to sleep in. Another alternative was rock wool or mineral wool, which apparently is a really good insulator. Again, great for loft spaces, for a van that's going to move. That kind of breaks down and settles over time with the vibrations of the van and such. So you end up just getting, from what I understand, like powder just gathering in the bottom of your panels, which is really not what you want. So this stuff is really good. Doesn't absorb moisture, which is what we want, because we don't want moisture gathering and then settling in the van, in the bottom of the panels, because that's just going to coat rust, especially in a T2. It just happens all the time. We want to do as much as we can to prevent that. So that brings me on to my next product, wax oil. This is to go inside the panels. So what I'm going to do is go along the bottom of the inner panels. So any moisture that does come in, all of these are waterproof, by the way, any moisture that does get into those panels and into the insulation, gravity should do its work, it should fall to the bottom, and it's not going to rust the bottom of those panels. To fix this all on, this is not self-adhesive, so I'm going to use some gaffer tape for that one, or duct tape or something like that. I've got to see what I've got in the garage for that, but I've also got some adhesive, because you want to keep it as flat as possible to the panels. You don't want any air gaps in behind where, again, moisture can gather. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that as tight to the panels as I possibly can. It's also to stick this to both this foil here and this foil here when I stuff it into the gaps. And you want it to stay quite spongy. If you put it in too tight, it's not really going to do anything in terms of insulation. You want it to have air inside. It wants to trap the air. So yeah, I'm going to kind of keep this quite thick and not try and pack it in too much. Keep it in place with this adhesive spray. Also, there's some areas of the van which I'm going to have to pull back some of the four-way stretch carpet that's already on there to access some of the panels. So I'm going to need some of that. I think 2 cans will be enough. I'm not entirely sure. We'll find out tomorrow. All right, guys, little update. Just about to go out and fix up the van, do the insulation. Could have done with it being in there already because it is currently 1 degree outside. Picked to do this in January. That was a smart move, wasn't it? But yeah, I'll video it as we go along, and hopefully have a nice warm van by the end of the day. Okay, so here we are, just about to start stripping the van back. Need to bring it out of the garage. The idea is I'm going to take these top panels off, put something in there. I've already got some sound deadening behind that. That's these pads here. Still got a few left to put on, which are going to go in the cab doors. I'm going to try and get in behind here as well. Again, put a little bit of sound deadening behind there, but it is a bit of a faff taking everything off just to get some insulation in behind it for probably a minimal gain. But we'll see what we can do. That'll be quite late on in the process, I think, depending on how much I've got left. This is also going to be a bit of a difficult bit here. I've got the cooker and everything in the way, so I need to get in the panel behind. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to take all the bedding out, clear all that out, create myself some space and pull everything back, see what I can get in, how far I can get in behind those panels. I might be able to just stuff things in from here and rather than taking everything out, but we'll see. It's a learning process for me. Hopefully you guys can watch it and go, that's not how you do it, and improve on the process when you come to do it yourselves. I'm not going to do the cab roof just yet. That is something I want to do because there is a bit of an issue with the sound. It resonates a little bit, so at some point I need to get in there and sort of deaden the sound there, and maybe put a little bit of insulation in above, just keep it nice and warm while I'm driving actually. Yeah, and then get in the cab doors, as I say. Again, there's some of the sound deadening pads that I put in there, just to stop that front panel resonating so much. It does rattle a little bit. Really easy to apply those. You just peel the back off like so and just stick it on, and then I used an old paint roller where the paint had dried in and made it quite stiff and solid, so that would work quite well as a roller to get everything sort of stuck down on the panels. I've driven it a couple of times since I put these panels on, and it has made a noticeable difference. You will see a number of videos around where people are saying cover the entire inside of the van with it. And I've seen a few other people where it's been certain engineers and people who with a bit of experience in the area and say you only need to cover 25% of the panel. This kind of stuff does just stop that resonating a little bit. So I've gone with the latter option because it's much cheaper, and this stuff is quite heavy. One pack's fine. I just went with one pack that had 20 sheets in it of the Dodo Mat brand, which I believe is quite a reputable. And it's not the cheapest one out there. It's not the most expensive either. But by all accounts, a good quality brand. But as I'm putting in the foam backed foil closed cell foam for the insulation, that's also going to absorb some of that sound as well. So I don't really need to go overboard and cover everything in this. If I'm going to do that, I'm also then going to put in that polyester insulation roll as well, which is again going to absorb some of that sound as well as insulating the van. So these things have got creaks and rattles and everything. You're never going to completely shut it off. And as I say, this isn't the cheapest stuff, and it's not the lightest stuff. So to fit an entire van with that does seem like a bit of overkill. I've still got these bits up here to do and to clean up. There's a lot of finger marks on there, isn't there? Need to clean up. Yeah, to get in behind here and put some more sound deadening, some of that foam in there, and see how much room I've got to maybe put some of the insulation roll that I've got here in there as well. But for now, what I'm going to do is these panels here that have got the foil on them, spray them with a contact adhesive, stick this to it, put the panel back on. And then same again there, and then down this side where I've not been able to fully get in, I'm just going to go and stuff as much of that down there as possible. Here's a little bit difficult because I've got a lot of wiring in there, so I'm going to go and at the lower parts there is a bit of space in there. Sorry, there's a little bit of space in there where I can get in and put some of that insulation roll in and push that as far down. I pretty much did the same thing with the foil there, because it's got the adhesive on it. It's sticking well enough. It's not brilliant, but I managed to push it as far down behind here as possible. This would be achievable with two people, I think, removing the cooker. I don't have two people right now. It's just me. My girlfriend is not here today, typically. So yeah, we'll just see how much of this we can get insulated. One job I said I wasn't going to do, but I ended up doing anyway, was in above the cab roof. Sorry, that's gone a bit blurred there. I got in, took all the screws out by the sun visors and by the handle over here. Popped these little things out as well. Very easy to move. and I could just reach in, put the sound deadening pad in, put some of that insulated foam, and then put some of the insulation roll in as well. There's a lot of wiring and everything because I've got the DVD player there. I've also got wiring which I think goes into the reversing monitor, but a lot quieter. I also, as I showed you before, did the flooring. What I had under there was, prior to that, was just bare metal. Well, not bare metal, but the chassis with some rubber mat and then the carpet over the top of it. That has now got sound deadening pads, some of the insulation roll taped down, with now the rubber and the carpet over the top of that. The reason I did that was not only for the vibrations, but it's also a bit of a waterproof barrier for the metal. When I pulled up the carpet, there was little pools of water gathering in. There's a lot of moisture seems to get in there because there is a little bit of daylight by the pedals. I need to redo the brushes around that. It's not airtight, the whole thing's or airtight or watertight, so there is going to be moisture getting in there, and it's one of the lowest points, so any moisture that settles is just going to make its way down there. I didn't put wax oil on it. I made the mistake of doing the wax oil below here. I did it in the doors and it's fine. I pointed out I'd done the holes around the midpoint here, and I did it in the bottom of the thing, the bottom of the door here, in the bottom of the frame. Got into these little holes here and the lower points all around the other frames. I learned a few lessons along the way. First one, don't buy too much. I overbought on the contact adhesive. I thought I'd need loads of that. It didn't really need it, because a lot of the time you just need something to hold the insulation roll in place, and once you've got the panel back on, that's going to hold it in place anyway, so it's not going to move. So that was a lesson learned. I could have saved myself £5 or whatever it was for the extra can I bought. Wax oil, go for the clear stuff, not the black stuff. It marks. I did actually order the clear stuff from Amazon. They sent me the black one, and I thought it's going to do the same job. I just didn't realize how it can get a bit messy. It's not a big deal, but if you're concerned about making a mess, then definitely go for the clear stuff. It's all behind the panel, so it doesn't really bother me. I'm not going to see it. It just makes a mess of your hands and things like that. Always wear gloves with it. The insulation roll as well. I thought I was going to need loads. The roll I got was, I couldn't get the stuff from B&Q that they sell, the dial stuff, which was by far the cheapest, but it seems to be out of stock everywhere. I think there's some Brexit or COVID related supply chain issues, maybe. Seems to be a lot of things going that way, unfortunately. So I ended up having to pay nearly twice that, which was still twice the amount that it would have cost me out of B&Q to buy some, and that was with a special deal off one of these deal websites. So I bought 2 rolls just in case, thinking I didn't want to be caught short. When I was putting it in, I used about 2/3 of the first roll. It does really expand a lot when you get it out of the packet. Good idea to leave it a little bit when you unravel it, let it expand fully, then start fitting it, because you get a better idea of how it's going to fit. Some cases I couldn't fit all of it in, so I had to tear it in half and use half thickness. But it does go a long way. The roll I had was 8 meters by 670 mils by 110 mils thickness. Yeah, I think I probably used about 5 or 6 meters of it. Didn't use the whole lot, and that would be, overestimating how much I used anyway. So the second roll I had, fortunately I managed to sell that one on at a bit of a loss, but be a bit careful when you're buying things. The 4-back roll, I could have done with a little bit more of that. if I was able to get in behind things like the cooker over here and some of these jobs that if I was more bothered about getting the whole van fully insulated, then I would have needed a lot more. I used every scrap that I had to fill in all the gaps, and there's still a few bits that I ended up filling in with that bubble wrap, where I didn't think it was worth buying a whole new roll, but something to consider. So please leave me some comments. Any things you think I could have improved on, I'm more than willing to take that criticism, because it will help other people if they're reading it. It's done a good job for me. I took it out to Brecon the other day on a run for about 3-hour round trip, I think that was, and went for a walk. It was nice and warm when I got back. It was only 3 degrees outside, and it was more than adequate to come in and get changed and not be freezing. When I got back with my wet gear and everything like that, really good. The sound deadening has been good. I was a little bit worried that I'd taken the cheaper option with only using the sound deadening Dodo mat pads for 25% coverage of the panels, as I'd seen on some sites and some videos and some people say, but it's worked. There's a few little creaks and rattles, mostly through things that I've kept loose in the van. Actually, the panels are perfect, as good as I could possibly hope for. I don't have to turn the radio up full blast as I'm driving anymore. Brilliant. So yeah, it's been difficult, had some success with it, but yeah, hopefully it's been useful to you guys. Give me a shout if there's anything else I can do. Please like and subscribe. This is my first video, they will get better. And come and join the site and follow me on the socials as well. Cheers guys.